Bring them in, Elizabeth. Let's do this.
They are coming in. This is great.
A lot of hungry triathletes ready to come. Look at the shirt I have on.
On time, early. These are all the people that I know are going to be in transition, early, ready to go come race day.
Look at my shirt.
That's fabulous. Thank you.
You know what? I just randomly put this on this morning. That's how it's meant to be. Right? Okay. Santa Barbara Triathlon 2017. Actually, so you're the race director. Here's the biggest thing. We're going to start this off with a bang, Elizabeth.
Okay.
The only responsibility you have as the race director is to give me a shirt that's this comfortable when I cross the finish line.
Well, I think we've done that.
Yes, success.
I'm actually pretty excited about the shirts, and everyone who has seen Facebook or Instagram voted on the final artwork. So I will graciously admit defeat. It wasn't the color pattern that I would have preferred, only because I'm partial to pink, but I went with the majority. So
it's the American Idol of t-shirts. I love it. So welcome to the call, guys. Welcome to Santa Barbara Course Talk. We have a lot of great info for you guys now. We're going to kick it off here with race director Elizabeth Farnan Rodrigues. She is going to introduce the staff that's on this call right now and kind of go over the overview of the race, some of the details that you guys have to dial into. Race morning, race weekend, and it's an honor to have all you guys on. So thank you for joining us. So Elizabeth, take it away.
This is fabulous. Hey everyone, if I haven't had a chance to meet you yet because we were all locked away in our own worlds for a long time, it's great to see you. Thank you for supporting the race. Thank you for signing up. We are really excited to be racing live. You all know it's been a long journey. For those of you up in Santa Barbara, you know, Reef and Run and Night Moves have been going gangbusters since they started mid-June, and we're pretty excited to be joining them on the beach and get our event going. As you know, there are some things that are going to look just a little bit differently this year. So I'm glad that you're all here to get the information. We are going to record this and we are going to post this on our website, Facebook. So, you know, to the extent that you know people who weren't able to dial in, I know tonight is Night Moves, and so that made it a little bit tricky for some people to participate. So we'll be steering people toward the recording of this so that everybody gets the information that we need. We just want to make it a smooth weekend. I would like to introduce some of the folks who are with us here this evening that have stepped in to play some pretty significant roles in getting this race over the finish line. And by that, I mean getting it to the point where you guys can all show up on race weekend. The voice of the Santa Barbara Triathlon will now be Jim Lubinski, who graciously welcomed you all to the call. Jim Lubinski is, he'll be one of the announcers. He is one of the coaches at Tower 26. He's just an all-around great guy. We will be limiting his time on the mic, though. The other announcer will have a kill switch.
Other announcer. This is the first I'm hearing of this, Elizabeth. Another announcer. No, we don't do that. I get 24/7. I get that mic.
Not with us tonight is Jerry Rodrigues, my husband and the other co-owner of the race. Jerry Rodrigues is the strong, silent type in the background that keeps me propped up. So without him, we probably wouldn't be this far along in the process. You will see him race weekend. He is the swim course director. When he asked me the other day, what does it mean to be the swim course director? What exactly do I need to do? I said, sweetie, just point him toward the ocean. We'll take it from there. So he will be on the beach, kind of lurking around, making sure that everything is set up. He'll be communicating with the lifeguards. So you may see him out there race weekend. We also have Megan Melgard with us. She's also a big part of Tower 26. Megan comes to us from Swim Across America and has countless experience, vital experience with putting on events. We could not do this without her. Megan and Jim Crane, also on the call, are our volunteer co-directors, and they have been borrowing, and stealing to get enough volunteer support out on the course. And the final person with us tonight is Chris O'Driscoll. Chris O'Driscoll, coach extraordinaire, coach to the Queen. Chris is our run course sponsor. So if there isn't enough water out on the run course, I'll send you his email later. So let's just go right into some of the things, you know, some of the course, not course changes, but just overall event changes that you're going to be experiencing. Before I get into that though, if you have questions during the presentation, go ahead and type them into the chat screen. Megan is going to be moderating questions so that we can answer questions real time, so nobody forgets and you know, questions get stale by the end of the presentation. So go ahead and bring up those questions. We'll be happy to stop and talk about stuff if we need to drill down into detail. All right, let's get started. As everyone may or may not know, this is the 40th anniversary of the Santa Barbara Triathlon, which is very exciting. The event began in 1981. It had a few owners, but it's been in the capable hands of Joe Coito for the last 25 years, who really had confidence in Jerry and I and passed the torch to us. And we are thrilled to be the stewards of the event for the foreseeable future. I put the venue address up there because I have gotten emails from athletes that aren't exactly sure where the venue location is. For those of you living in Santa Barbara, you know the Cabrillo Beach Pavilion at East Beach. If you need to plug something into your GPS to get to the event, there is the street address right there. So coming into race weekend, as you guys know, we folded this event into one day. And we did so for planning purposes. Coming out of the pandemic created challenges for everybody, created challenges for the city, for the permitting, for the athletes. You know, but many people were deciding, they were waiting for the last minute to decide whether or not they wanted to participate in the event, which I completely understood, but it was making planning kind of tricky. So we made the decision in early July. We were going to fold this into one day, and we were going to cap the athletes at 1,000 because we knew we were going to be able to get 1,000 athletes into this event, which we have done. We have 1,000 athletes participating across about 5 different categories. And we do have a waiting list. We have about, I don't know, 40 to 50 athletes who are trying to get a spot. So those of you who are registered for the race, if something happens between now and then, there is someone sitting on the waiting list anxiously waiting for your spot. But for those of you who got in, I'm so excited. I can't wait to see you. Can't wait to see you race weekend. Packet pickup is going to be Friday from noon to 6:30 p.m. Packet pickup will be at the pavilion. For those of you who've been with us in the past, the expo and the pavilion have been moved back to the beach. The scaffolding is down. The pavilion looks fantastic. The registration tables will be lined up on the ocean side of the pavilion. So come on down. You pick up your packet between 12 and 6:30. When you see the event schedule, you'll see that there are also 3 course talks. So some of the information that we're covering tonight will be repeated. The difference then will be, it will be 100% led by Jim Lubinski. So be careful what you wish for. And we'll also have a USA Triathlon referee at the event. So for those of you who are kind of new to racing and not quite sure of some of the rules, there'll be an opportunity to ask the ref. So I encourage you to come and get your packet on Friday. For traveling athletes, we will have a small window on Saturday morning where you can pick up your packet from 5 a.m. to 6:45 a.m. I do not encourage you to wait till Saturday morning. I have no way of knowing what the line will look like on Saturday morning, but I do know we have a hard stop at 6:45 because the timers have something to do at 7 a.m. So please do everything you can to pick up your packet by Friday. Your waivers have already been signed. Your USAT license has already been checked. If you want someone to pick it up for you, we will allow that. We don't need to get you to sign waivers, check your USAT card. All of that work has been done up front. In order to separate long and short course for the athletes, the timers, and the volunteer, long course athletes will be wearing white bibs. Short course athletes will be wearing royal blue bibs. So when you get your packet, if you have the wrong color, please go back to the registration table and make sure that that gets corrected. It is the athlete's responsibility to know the course. So long course athletes, if you make the run turn after mile 1 and head back to the finish line, it's probably going to be a problem when you get back.
You laugh at that, Elizabeth, but you know what? That happens. I'm going to tell you, having coached as many athletes I have over the years, you wouldn't believe what I've seen. So you can reiterate that several times throughout this, and you're still going to have a long course person come in and say, hey, I did 2 miles in first place.
It is going to happen. I understand that. But, we're all going to do our best out there. When you come to packet pickup, it's going to look a little bit differently than it has in the past, or maybe even some other events. There will not be a list of athletes and numbers. The numbers are not being assigned before the event. The numbers are being assigned when you pick up your packet. So for example, Jim Lubinski is going to walk up to the registration table and he is going to say very nicely hi to the volunteer, and he's going to smile and wink his eye, and he's going to say, I'm Jim Lubinski and I'm here to race. And the volunteer will enter Jim's name into the computer and see that Jim is racing long course. And they will pick up an envelope from the long course box, and that will have a bib, a timing chip, a helmet sticker, and a bike sticker. That all of those pieces will have the same number. There will be a QR code on the envelope that will be scanned, and that will assign that number to Jim Lubinski. So the numbers will not be sequential with respect to age groups, as many of us are used to seeing. So what that means when it comes to rack your bike on Saturday morning, pay attention to the signs on the ends of the bike racks. You will be racking based on category and age group. And by category, I mean long course individual, long course aqua bike, relay, short course co-ed, short course women only, parent child. So pay close attention to those signs on the ends of the bike rack. Here's something that may also be a little bit different from the past, but is absolutely vital. If you take one thing away tonight, take this. I feel like a politician doing that. I didn't mean to do that. All bikes must be racked Saturday morning by 7 a.m. You will not be permitted to roll into transition after 7 a.m. and set up your bike. The reason for this is, for the first time in a long time, we are putting long and short course on the same day. And once the event starts, there will be people flying around transition, athletes who are already underway with their respective events. And we can't have people rolling in and trying to set up while athletes are running up from the beach, running across transition with their bikes, running out with their bikes. So if you attempt to set up transition after 7 o'clock, you will be turned away. It will be heartbreaking. We will have some volunteers there that will be instructed. There are no exceptions. I'm sorry about that. It is for the safety of everyone in transition. I want people to come into this event excited to participate and race and celebrate that we're being back. But they're also, let's go to the next slide, please.
A couple quick questions though.
Oh, yes, of course.
Yeah. So does this mean there is no racking of bikes on Friday night?
That is correct. There is no racking of bikes on Friday night. Your bikes are safer with you than down at the beach all night. So Saturday morning, when we see the schedule, you will see that transition opens at 5 a.m. So you will have plenty of time to roll your bikes in and get set up before that 7 a.m. cutoff.
Sounds great. Thank you. And will there be more space per athlete in transition in between each bike?
We will be setting up, we're going to get to some COVID protocols now, but I'll go ahead and hit this. We will be setting up the racks. They will not be specifically numbered per athlete. As I've already said, the numbers aren't pre-assigned. So I don't know, across the age groups where the athletes are going to rack. I do highly recommend that you rack alternating. So one bike faces one way, one bike faces the next way, and that creates space between the bikes. There won't necessarily be designated space, but I will trust the athletes can sort of negotiate the space on the racks.
It's not a 5-star hotel, guys. Keep it tight. we'll go over this in a little bit, but you're going to, no matter how much room we have in there, we want you to keep that transition area tight and clean.
Well, I think what the athlete writing the question may have been hitting at is just from a COVID protocol perspective. And we're about to hit that now. So let's put a pin in that one. Megan, were there any other questions?
Yep, we have a couple more. So the bibs in the appropriate color, as you noted previously, they're provided. Will those be in the actual packet when they pick up the packet? Okay.
Yes.
Sorry, that was my question. Forgive me if this is like a very newcomer question.
No such thing.
I was just confused by the word bibs. Those are biking bibs, the shorts we'd be wearing?
No, that was actually, that wasn't a newcomer question. That was a very fair question. So when I refer to the race bibs, I'm not talking about your cycling shorts. I am talking about the square number that you will wear on your body during the run portion of the event.
Oh, okay. That makes a lot more sense. Thank you.
That'd really be something if we were giving out cycling bibs. Anything else, Megan?
Yeah, race number. And then at what point in time will the IDs be checked? Will that be at packet pickup?
So we will, yes, we'll be checking IDs, but not strictly. As I mentioned, we've done a lot of legwork on the front end on registration. We are continuing to comb the list. The most important things are your waivers are signed and your USAT license has been checked. And yes, we'll be checking, but the reality is we're going to have volunteers there. If somebody needs to pick up someone else's packet, I'm going to allow that because, there's going to be people coming in from out of town. And truthfully, I'm really trusting that the athletes are showing up and picking their packet and haven't said, well, I can't race, so I'm just letting someone else pick up their packet and race as me. God forbid anything happened under that last scenario, whoever was given a packet or whoever took that step, they would not be on the insurance policy. They would not be covered if anything happened. So it's, it's a little bit of an honor system. It's for the protection of the race and the athletes around you. If you can't race, don't give your packet away.
Beautiful. Megan, anything else?
Just a reminder that everyone will have to sign their own waiver. And so if you need to print it out in advance, then everyone needs their own signed waiver.
So the waivers have actually been signed online.
Great. Okay.
During the registration process, for those of you obviously on the call that have registered, there were a lot of screens to get through. You signed 3 waivers. You signed an event waiver, you signed a COVID waiver, and you signed a USA Triathlon waiver. And we are going through the registration list in the background. There are a few people that got through without a USAT license check. That was a little bit of a glitch in the system for a couple of days. You will be receiving an email to complete that step. I'm not aware of any athletes who have not signed waivers, so we don't need to worry about printing out waivers and getting manual signatures at the event site. That said, if we finish combing that list and there was someone that didn't have a waiver signed, we'll have a note when you check in that you need to sign a waiver before we give you your packet. But that's all been done on the front end, which will just make packet pickup even smoother.
That sounds great. And I think you probably will address this in further slides, Elizabeth, but body marking also at that point in time, will athletes be marked with a Sharpie on legs and arms? And just to clarify, that will be Saturday morning when you will get marked.
That is correct. So body marking will be Saturday morning. Yes, there will be a marker on legs and arms. I'm aware that, racing outfits have changed. And so they used to be tank tops and shorter shorts, and now there are longer shorts and there are racing tops with sleeves. So it makes body marking a little tricky. The volunteers will do the best that they can. If for some reason you don't feel comfortable having a volunteer come that close to you, it's perfectly fine. Bring your own Sharpie. And, if you're traveling with a friend or a spouse, you may absolutely mark yourselves. But yes, arms and legs for, oh my gosh, did someone just write, bring your own, my kind of party, bring your own Sharpie?
Yes.
That's fabulous. I didn't catch the name, but that's fabulous. yes, it is a party. Bring your own Sharpie. You know, to the extent that you don't want anyone that close to you, which is absolutely understandable. So let's try and move on a little bit and maybe circle back. Are we good?
Sir, one more quick question just to
Oh, of course.
clarify. Just want to double check and make sure. Did you say that you could pick up a friend's packet if they can't get there on time on Friday?
I did say that, and I am putting a lot of trust in the athletes that, you know, the athlete who is registered is the athlete who will have that packet and will show up on race day. But yes, in an attempt to get everybody's packets out on, or the bulk of the packets out on Friday to alleviate the congestion on Saturday. Yes, because the waivers and the USA Triathlon licenses have been checked. Yes, you can pick up someone else's packet, especially, you know, relay teams, obviously that's appropriate. There's one packet for the team. So yes, to reiterate, you can pick up a friend's packet.
But it'll also be available if you're driving in on Saturday morning, you can still pick up your packet yourself.
You can, yes,
Saturday
you can
morning.
still pick up your packet, tight window, be there early, just in case.
Beautiful. All right, let's get moving here, Elizabeth.
All right, so one of the things, and some of these questions kind of touched upon them, I'm just sort of calling this athlete awareness, because as I mentioned, there are going to be 1,000 people out there, 1,000 people on that course. We have about 900 bikes that we're putting in transition. So there's going to be a lot of people. I really want everyone in your excitement to also, when you're in areas like transition, the swim start, the bike mount and dismount line, just take a deep breath and make sure that you're very aware of who's around you. It's been a long time since long and short course have been on the same day. The parent-child division has never been on the same day as the long course event. It didn't exist when that was occurring. So for some of those top age groupers that are going to be returning on the bike and dismounting, be very aware that there will be parent-child athletes mounting their bikes and heading out of town. And there are also a lot of newcomers and new athletes in the short distance, and they don't negotiate getting on their bike as well as maybe some of more of our seasoned athletes. So just be aware, be kind, be respectful, celebrate the fact that we're back. Once your bike's on the rack and your running shoes are on and you're back on your own, go for it. You know, have the best race possible. When you're out on the bike course by yourself, go for it, have the best race possible. But just be very aware in a couple of areas. Another thing that we've kind of danced around a little bit, and that's COVID. Santa Barbara, Southern California, we have a very high percentage vaccination rate, but we all watch the same news, we all read the same newspapers. There is the Delta variant, which is kind of throwing a wrench into the wheel on how safe we are. I'm monitoring CDC, state, and county health correspondents daily. And so far, there hasn't been any guidance that says it's not safe to do this. I am aware that just last night, LA County said you must wear a mask at a mega outdoor event. So an outdoor event with 10,000 people or more. That's not us. But masks are not required, but they're encouraged. We're not going to make any political statements with respect to masks. All we care about is the health and safety of the athletes in the community. If you are an unvaccinated athlete, I'm not checking vaccine cards, but if you're an unvaccinated athlete, please wear a mask when you're setting up your bike or you're in a heavily populated area. Be respectful to the other athletes and the community. If you're a vaccinated athlete and you feel like you would just be more comfortable in a mask, go ahead and wear one. You'll probably see me in a mask most of the weekend. I am immunocompromised, I am vaccinated, and I am still a little bit concerned about Delta and a breakthrough infection. So I will be wearing a mask. So please do what you need to do to keep yourself comfortable and to be respectful of the athletes around you. We will have masks, gloves, hand sanitizer at the venue. If you don't have one and you want one, feel free to pick one up. A couple other things on athlete awareness. There are two what I call hot spots on the bike. where I really want all of you, especially long course, more seasoned athletes, to be hyper aware. The first hotspot is Cabrillo Boulevard and Channel Road. For those of you who have raced with us in the past, you know that you are heading out on the course, out Cabrillo Boulevard, and you're going to make a right on Channel. There's kind of a cutout, a turnout that separate from Channel Road that the outbound side rides out on and then makes the right on Channel. That cutout is closed. A couple days ago, they put some construction equipment. We don't know if it will be open come race weekend. We're not sure yet. But if it is still closed, that means that outbound and inbound are going to be at the same intersection, the intersection of Cabrillo and Channel. So as you're coming down Channel on the inbound side, you're probably going to be screaming down that hill and making a hard left. Be aware there are going to be short course athletes heading out. Just pay attention. We'll have volunteers up on Channel on the hill to remind you to slow down before you make that left. Please listen to the volunteers. I know you're going to be excited to be coming in off the bike, especially after you're 33 miles into it, but pump the brakes, safely make the turn. The other hot spot is the intersection of Jameson and Eucalyptus. So Jameson is, Eucalyptus is the road that turns into San Ysidro on that overpass. Right at that intersection before you make the left, there is a cone, and that's the turnaround for short course. And again, seasoned athletes, please be aware. The newcomers might not be as good negotiating a U-turn around a cone as you might be. So give them space, give them room. Let's help keep that corner be very safe. There's gonna be a lot of volunteers out there to help guide the athletes, but that's another area where I really want people to focus on sharing the road. And finally, on the on trash, please just be respectful of the neighborhood. We are invading their space. This race has lasted for 40 years because our athletes have been respectful. Discard the trash at aid stations. Seems like a no-brainer, but let's make sure that we help the volunteers out who have to go out there and clean up after all the athletes are done. How are we doing on questions?
Doing well. Just to clarify, we will have a trash can right by the swim start. So if you have a disposable mask, then you can put that disposable mask in the trash can. And once again, just to reiterate, thank you for being mindful of where you drop your trash for the neighborhoods and for the athletes. One other question, this kind of goes back to our body marking. Can you wear calf guards that might cover the body marking?
Yes, you can. We'll mark you on your thighs. The calf marking is typically an age, your age group on the back of your calf. I'm not going to restrict you from wearing, I'm assuming they mean compression socks on their calves. Completely fine. We'll mark you on your arms. We'll mark you on your thighs. We'll work around your clothes. Here is the event schedule. It has been emailed out. It is posted on our website. Kind of nothing new here. The schedule is subject to change, and what will change here is really from 7 a.m. on Saturday onward. Now that registration is closed and the database is locked, we'll be working out the swim heats, but this is a pretty good representation of when the event classes will begin. I have had some questions. I realized I wasn't exactly clear on one thing. At 7 a.m., the long course swim waves start. I am referring to the long course individual doing swim, bike, run by themselves. The aqua bike will start right after the long course individual. So I've had some questions about that. The swim heats will be set up based on age groups and put in the water. Kind of, what is the average finish time of each age group? We're going to try and mix it up. I don't know how to say this delicately, but as a female athlete, I always get frustrated when the women get stuck in the back. So we will be mixing it up kind of on projected finish time. We'll be doing the best we can. Nobody wants to be the last wave in the water. I've been there, but know that we will do the best we can, and we'll try and switch it up from year to year. But given the fact that we've got long course and short course athletes in the water at the same time, we just got to be safe. We just got to make sure that everyone gets in and gets out. Number in equals number out. That's our goal on the beach.
And they'll know their wave start time when they check in, right?
Yeah, we will post the wave start times sometime next week. I don't want to lock myself into a date, but I'm working with the timers. So we will have a closer approximation of when the wave starts are hopefully by mid next week. And yes, the wave starts will be posted at Packet Pickup.
But thanks, Elizabeth. And just to confirm, Tim, so to answer your question, yes, there will be wave starts versus rolling. And then the duathlon wave starts. Thank you, Veronica, for that question. That will also be posted, as Elizabeth just noted.
Yeah, it looks like, so a great question about the duathlon. We have about 25 participants in the duathlon, so that will go at once. So around 8:15, the duathlon run will start. So we're kind of projecting that the duathlon wave will come through 8:30-ish. So duathlon will be one wave. So I think some of the more specific event participation, swim, bike, run, I think that's going to be covered in the part that we're going to turn over to Jim now. So if there are any questions related to, the swim, when do we get in the water? How do we do this? Let's let Jim start his part of the presentation, and then we can pick up questions if we don't cover it.
All right, this is the most important part. I hope you guys took notes on the last one, but this is where you really want to take notes because I have all this expertise being the former Santa Barbara Triathlon champion. Everyone want to clap for me? Anyone? Anyone? I know a thing or two about this. All right, guys. So like we said, transition. We want everyone to have plenty of space in there, but let's make sure we keep it tight. We have 900 bikes in there, so it's not a 5-star hotel. We don't just spread your wings and keep one visor down at the whole left side of the rack and then say, hey, that's my bike at the other right side of the rack. So keep it tight. Only bring in there what you need. Set it up on a towel. Bring your bike shoes, your bike helmet, your sunglasses. Elizabeth, correct me if I'm wrong. You don't have to wear your bib on the bike, right? You do not.
That is correct. That is correct. You will have a sticker on your bike. So you do not have to wear your bib on the bike, just on the run.
Perfect. Remember what Elizabeth stressed about 15 times. You're racked by your category and your age group, not racked by bib numbers. So we're going to have 75 people come to us in the morning and say, I don't see any numbers on the rack. Where do I put my bike? Listen to me now. You're racked by your category and your age group, not by bib numbers. So that will keep a cleaner flow going out and coming back into transition. So that's going to be something maybe you guys have never experienced before, but you're going to see a really neat transition as you run out and run back in. All right, so we cover that. Everything you need for the bike, just bring what you need. Let's not bring any buckets. Let's not bring any showers, any of that kind of stuff. Just what you need for your bike, just what you need for your run so we can create as much space because 900 bikes in a small area, we don't want everybody running into each other. And there is going to be two-way traffic in the transition area. So the tighter you can be, the more room we're going to have out there, both for COVID protocol as well as for your safety because of that two-way traffic, athletes running in, running out. So if I haven't stressed it yet, I'll stress it again, keep it tight and only bring in the transition what you need. You can put your bag over inside. If you look at this picture I put here, they have the bag up closer to that wheel that's off of the ground. You can do that with your bag. You can find a space on the side of the transition area to put your bag. Only people allowed in transition area are athletes, so your stuff will be safe in there. So there's plenty of areas to put the bag on the perimeter, or you can put it under that wheel as this athlete has done here. With 900 bikes, you have a ton of bike racks in there. When you get to where you rack your bike, you can identify that space by finding a stagnant object that tells you where that rack is. So look for a palm tree, look for a porta potty. You don't want to look for Elizabeth because Elizabeth's going to be moving around. You say, oh, my bike's right by Elizabeth. She's not going to be standing there for 2 hours while you go out there and swim a mile. Pick something that's not going to move, that when you run in and you're all discombobulated from going from that horizontal to vertical position, running up the beach in the transition, you can look for that palm tree and say, I know my rack is is right by that palm tree. Let me run to that palm tree. And then there you go. Voila, your bike is there. So
Hey,
that's
Jim,
a little tip. Yes.
on the bike racks, another advantage to getting there early on Saturday to get your bike on the rack is also to walk transition. So go over to the area where you run in from the swim. I usually count bike racks in case there isn't, as Jim mentioned, anything near my rack. There's no palm tree. It's 5 racks away. It doesn't help. So I usually count the racks so that when I get out of the swim and, everything is a little bit hurried, as soon as I hit the transition area, I start counting and then I turn in my rack. Doesn't always work because sometimes I forget what the count was, but that's another way to do it. Count the racks.
Well, we don't want you bringing balloons. We don't want you writing chalk all over the ground. So we want to keep it as clean as possible and as tight as possible, if I haven't stressed that yet. All right, look, we have a transition map coming up, but you're going to look over where that swim in is into transition, where your bike out is, where that bike in is, where your run out is, and just know the path you're going to take from each in and out, entry and exit, in and out of transition. So you know how you were going to execute the transition. Another thing, don't worry about sand on your feet. You'll be fine. This is why I say you don't need a bucket full of water. I've raced 25, 30 Ironmans and probably 100 half Ironmans and who knows how many other races. I've never had an issue with sand on my feet, and everyone has had a sand exit into transition. So you'll be fine. If you want to wipe your feet off on that towel, wipe your feet off on the towel, but let's not worry about bringing a big bucket full of water in the transition to wipe your feet off for that half a second that you're in there. Any questions on that those transition notes there, Meg?
No starting up on the transition notes.
All right, clear, crystal clear. All right, here's the transition area. Elizabeth, you want to go over this real quick it's kind of self-explanatory, but is there anything that you wanted to hit on?
It looks like something you see on Sunday football with the X's and O's and the arrows. So swim in, again, we're going back to the 2017 race. So in 2019, we were in the parking lot for the finish area because the pavilion was under construction. So swim in, if you notice, once you come into the parking lot, you'll be making a right. It's how we equalize the run distance. So you've been making a right, and then you can come into the area. So if you're looking at this picture where you see the elite rack, all the way on the left, said another way, the west side of transition, that's the direction that the racks are going to clear. So the long course age groupers are going to be the furthest to the west, and then the aqua bike, and then the long course relays, and then the short course co-ed, women and parent child, you're going to be on the east side of transition. So basically what that does is you're running in and running the farthest away, getting your bike and moving out and really getting out of the way of who's going to come in behind you. You will run your bike out toward Cabrillo Boulevard. It's a little confusing for the out of town people, but this is a south facing beach. So the beach is to the south, it's not to the west. So that's why I'm referencing you will be taking your bike out the racks toward Cabrillo Boulevard. Run, walk, be safe, don't run anybody over, but the bike mount and dismount line are up on Cabrillo Boulevard. You cannot get on your bike before then. When you return, bike in will be on the side of transition closest to Cabrillo Boulevard. You'll run toward the bathhouse. You'll enter the bike rack. When you leave for the run, you will run toward the ocean and you will make the right turn and you will head out down the parking lot toward the pier. So hopefully that helped give you some landmarks other than north, south, east, and west for those of you not aware of the south facing beach.
Beautiful. If you guys look up there, bike out, bike in, all those little red dots, there's a lot of chaos going on up there. Bike out, bike in. You're going to be coming in. Athletes going to be going out. You're going to be going out. Athletes going to be coming in. Always just be aware, be defensive, and look around you, look over your shoulder before you make a sudden move. There's a lot going on. We don't want any crashes there. So just pay attention, especially in that bike in, bike out area.
And Jim, we did have a couple questions earlier that were confirmed that only athletes, volunteers, and those with official credentials are allowed in transition. No spectators will be allowed in transition. And then also another question, will spectators otherwise be limited around the course? And Elizabeth, correct me if I'm wrong, we cannot enforce that with spectators because it's an open area, but we will encourage social distancing within the spectators.
Yeah, I think Megan pretty much nailed it all. Yes, only athletes, volunteers, anyone with a credential will be in transition. It's there's too much going on in there. It's the same reason we're not allowing late racking. So only the people who are supposed to be in transition will be there. With regard to spectators around the course, Jim and Mark will be on the microphones, and yeah, they will be encouraging people to be respectful, to social distance. They'll encourage people to be wearing masks. You know, we only have control of what we have control of, but we will encourage certain behavior to be mindful that there are athletes out there who are unmasked, who can't be masked during the event, and we will do our best to try and encourage people to help everybody out.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Yep. And then one more clarification. Yes, Zach, you must dismount before re-entering the transition area. You cannot ride to your area. So
yeah, we'll get to that shortly.
Dismount.
Yeah, I'll make that point crystal clear very soon, Zach. All right, so swim course. We have one loop for the long course. It's a mile. We have the sprint course. It's 500 yards. They're both clockwise swims. The sprint course is a little bit different this year in that you're starting a little further. Elizabeth, which direction? North? What direction is that? A little further east, yeah.
If you're looking at the ocean, it's to the left.
Okay, so you start a little bit, just know, sprint course athletes, you start a little bit further down the beach than the long course athletes will be starting. So you can exit at that similar spot. But long course athletes, short course athletes, you have just 2 right-hand turns. It's that easy, just making a nice little box there. Long course athletes, as you see the course here, you have 1, 2, 3 right-hand turns and a left-hand turn. Temperatures in the mid 60s. So you're probably going to want to wear your swimming wetsuit. Luckily, it's going to be a calm ocean entry, ocean exit. I've been up at this race plenty of times, and there's nothing that has been other than perfect surf and perfect conditions. So hopefully we're hoping for the same as the 40 years in the past. Correct me if I'm wrong, any of you Santa Barbara locals, but I think it's pretty calm at this beach at all times. Just remember though, when you are making that turn all the way out at that far third right-hand turn, you're going to be coming back right into the sun. Am I right? The sun rises in the east, right, Elizabeth, Megan? Is that correct? Yeah. You're going to be looking right into that sun. So you're going to be prepared with some tinted goggles because it's going to be a fine for the first 3/4 or first half of the swim. When you make that right-hand turn and you're coming right back in the sun, you're going to wish you had that tinted goggles. Another point that you can use is you can sight off of the shore. So every time you breathe to that left-hand side, you can just make sure you're parallel to that shore if you're having a tough time sighting those buoys into that rising sun.
Couple of questions, Jim. So for the short course and the long course, will the buoys, and Elizabeth as well, are the buoys going to be different colors for those turns on the short course and the long course?
That is a really great question. It is my intention that the answer is yes. I am meeting with Tony, the head lifeguard, tomorrow afternoon, and that's something that we're going to talk about so that it's very clear which turn buoys are short course buoys. Yes.
And do we have an anticipated water temperature for Saturday, the 28th?
Kind of hard to say.
Just say mid 60s. Yeah, mid 60s. Sure.
Yeah. Let's go with low to mid 60s.
And I could, I'll get that info. Stand by.
It's going to be wetsuit legal. But just remember, I mean, approximately, Elizabeth, you have a number of how many athletes will be taken off per wave? Any idea?
We're still working out the waves, but we're kind of landing like 60-ish.
So here's the thing, guys. Pay attention to your start time. Your timing starts when your wave goes off. Correct me if I'm wrong. There's not going to be a timing mat on the beach. So
no, but the timers will be there to start the wave. So,
exactly. So that's the thing.
That's
like when When your wave goes, your start time goes, because there's not a timer on the beach to click your timing chip, your start time, as there is at an Ironman event where there's a rolling start and there's a timing mat there. That's not the case here. If you're 45 to 49 and you go at 7:15, your race starts at 7:15. So if you're over there doing interviews for the press at 7:16, your race has started and you're digging into your race time. So make sure you're ready to go and you've paid attention to those start times. Just a little bit, as I just spoke about sighting, a little bit about the distance of the course. But just be sure you're ready with those tinted goggles, because you are going to be coming back and it's going to be tough to see. So if you haven't practiced, breathe into that left side occasionally. Let's get in the water and practice in the next couple sessions when you get to the pool or to the beach. Now it might be a little chillier, right? Up north in Santa Barbara, I think we were 70 down here today. So probably gonna be a little chillier up north. So if you guys take it out, if you're newer to open water swimming, if you're newer to swimming in the ocean, if you're newer to wearing a wetsuit, there's a chance you might hyperventilate. That's where you get behind on your breath. You get a little bit too much carbon dioxide built up in your system. And we're not going to have brown paper bags for you to breathe into. If you guys remember, always, like at every 80s sitcom, always had somebody breathing into a paper bag because they're hyperventilating because they did something embarrassing. We're not going to have those paper bags out in the water, but just recognize it. Know it happens to everybody, from top finishers, best triathletes in the world, down to your first time athlete. Recognize it. Get on your back, just float for a second, let that breathing regulate, and then you can keep moving forward and continue on with your race. But it's not the end of your day if you start to hyperventilate and lose your breath. It happens to everybody. Just use the wetsuit as the flotation device that it is and relax. Your breathing will settle down and you can keep moving forward and finish your race. Stay nice. Yes.
One other thing I want everyone to know, especially the more beginner swimmers, which we're going to see more in the short course. Every Santa Barbara lifeguard will be in the water. In fact, I think they even bring the junior guards in. There will be lifeguards on paddle boards all over the course. If, as Jim mentioned, you start to hyperventilate because you get into cold water and you're not used to the compression of the wetsuit across your chest, and you do that first dive and you come up and you go, ugh! Stay calm. Don't panic. Breathe deep. You are allowed to hold on to a paddleboard of the lifeguards, as long as they're not moving you in a forward direction, as long as you don't grab on and say, hey, start paddling, let's go. You are allowed to hold on to the lifeguard's paddleboard. You're not going to be disqualified. So if that's if that's a security for you, go ahead. If you really feel like you're in trouble, just put your arm up in the air and a lifeguard will be on you faster than you could possibly imagine. So monitor your body, monitor your breathing. Do not be afraid to ask for assistance from the lifeguards.
Plenty out there. You can just raise your hand and make it known they need help. They'll come right over.
And I saw one come in that's timely that I think we should nail. Yes, warm up. Get in the water. We absolutely will allow warm-ups to the east side of the starting area. So if you're looking at the ocean, off to the left, so you're not on the course. Get in the water. Put your face in the water. Get under the water. So you have a full understanding of how your body's going to react to the colder water if you're from further south. Absolutely warm up, swim, get out there for 5-10 minutes, swim around, get an idea of what the bottom feels like. Are there shells on the bottom? Are there divots? So get an idea of the bottom and get an idea of the water. Absolutely warm up.
Good point. Stay nice and relaxed. Try and stay as tight to the buoys as you guys can stay. We don't want you swimming out to Santa Cruz Island. Stay nice and tight. And just remember, when you get up from the swim, you're going to be wobbly. Just keep moving forward. Let that blood pressure come down and you will settle down. Just keep moving up the beach, get in the transition, get on your bike, start moving. And yeah, you will settle as you move forward on the bike. So.
All right, and one quick confirmation there. So thanks to someone locally, the water temperature currently is 62. So it'll be anywhere between 62 and 65. And you do not have to wear a wetsuit. Wetsuits are not mandatory, but they are recommended in that temperature of water.
All right, just some notes on transition here. Make it snappy, but not hasty. You don't want to take a nap in there. We see some people have 17, 20-minute transitions. I always see at the end of a race, someone says, oh God, if my transition would have been a minute faster, I would have been in 10th place. Don't say that afterwards. Just make it as fast and as quick as you can. Get your shoes on, get out of transition. No filing your nails and putting on your makeup, which I did have an athlete who used to do. Put on their lipstick in transitions. Get out of there. Get moving. Pull the wetsuit down. Make sure you, like we spoke about, identify your bike by rack number, stagnant object. Just that's an easy way when there's that many bikes in a small area. It's an easier way to find that. If you need, a lot of people ask, should I wear socks? I get this question every single one of these calls. So I just had to put it in. Yes. If you practice with socks on, put your socks on. Take the time. The short amount of time it takes to put a sock on is going to be much greater, much smaller than the time it's going to take if you get a blister to walk the entire run because of the pain that blister is causing you. So train with socks, put the socks on in transition, put your shoes on and get out of there. You can put your helmet, sunglasses, shoes on, and then carefully, you're going to walk or jog your bike to the mount line. The mount line is right outside of the bike out banner. And there's a line on the ground. You cannot get on your bike until after that line. You go to the Malibu Triathlon, which is in September, you're going to see a bunch of people get on their bike right at their transition rack and riding this thing out of transit. You see it all the time. That's not us. That's not Santa Barbara Triathlon athletes. You take your bike off the rack in your transition, you walk or run easy, because if you have cleats on the bottom of your shoes and all these people are running into transition all wet from the swim, it could be slippery. So let's make sure we're very careful running or walking with our bike out of that bike out banner. Get on your bike after the dismount line. There'll be 700 volunteers that Megan and Jim have brought in to be standing at that mount line saying, don't get on your bike. Don't get on your bike. When you cross that line, then you can get on your bike, go ride and rip up that course. All right, that's what I got. Beautiful. So just be safe walking that bike. And always, like I said earlier, be alert, guys. There's going to be people coming in. There's going to be people going out. There's going to be swimmers coming in, runners going out. Just look over your shoulder before you make any movements. And we want everybody to stay safe. Bike course, what all you guys have been waiting for. I believe Bruce Davis is on this as well. Bruce is the SAG support for the course. He's going to have his mechanics out there fixing bikes, fixing flats, if anyone has one. Is that?
Yes, he will. And Bruce will also be, he will have a tent set up. Bruce, the owner of Hazards. For those of you who may not know, Bruce has been involved in this race probably since the beginning of time. Bruce is one of those people. We can't do it without him. Bruce and his crew will also have a 10 by 10 pop-up tent at registration on Friday from noon to 6:30. So if you roll into town and you've got a flat or something got tweaked, they will be there to help you out. They'll be there Saturday morning when you roll your bikes into transition. If you need a little extra air, they'll be there with pumps. They'll be there to twist that to make sure that you are good to go and on your way. So there's a lot to the support that Hazards provides us, in addition to being out there on the bike course to help you out should you get a flat or if something else happens.
Beautiful. So thanks for that, Bruce. If you have anything that you want to pipe up and shout out, just let us know. Just unmute and we'll take it into account. But hey, so the long course, 34 miles, sprint course, you're 6 miles. I have the course maps there. The course maps are also available online for you guys to check out, santabarbaratriathlon.com. Remember, we obey all traffic laws out there. This is an open course. You have to be defensive at all times. This means the course is not closed to traffic. You're going to be riding with all these guys going to work on Saturday mornings. A lot of them don't know what a triathlon is, let alone that there's a triathlon going on. So we have to make sure you're always stopping the stop signs. If there's a red stoplight, you stop at a red. I don't believe there are any stoplights on this course. Stop signs, but no stoplights. If there's a stop sign, you stop at the stop sign. Everybody has to deal with these guys. So if you're dealing with it, 999 other athletes are going to be dealing with this. So because you might have to take 2 seconds to stop at a stop sign, everyone else is going to have to take those 2 seconds too. So be safe out there and always be alert with the traffic. There's a lot of agricultural workers going to work at this time. And like I said, they don't know what is going on. They don't know the race is going on. Although we are going to all these farms, we're going to everyone on the bike course saying there is a bike race going on. There's going to be signage that the city puts up. Doesn't mean that they're all going to be alert and they're going to be paying attention. Half of them are asleep still. Be alert. I can't stress this enough. Always, always, always be looking over your shoulder. If you go to pass an athlete, you're always staying to the right. You go to pass on the left, you look over your left-hand shoulder before you move out into the road. And then you look over your right-hand shoulder as you pass the athlete and move back to the right. be alert, like Elizabeth stated earlier, be alert at that sprint turnaround. As the long course athletes are coming back, those sprint athletes are turning around at mile 3 of their course. So if the two courses are going to intersect at this point, you're going to have some athletes taking wider turns. So you have to put on the brakes and take it easy. There's going to be volunteers there. There's going to be bike course marshals there telling you guys to slow it down. Always pay attention to when they're telling you to be alert and slow it down. Let's not just blow through it because we're trying to save 3 seconds in our finish time. This is a runner's course. If you regulate that bike and you leave it all on that run, you're going to have a great day. But let's not be too hasty and get all caught up in our performance and forget about our surroundings and our fellow athletes while we're out there. It's a rolling course, has 3 climbs. It's pretty challenging. So let's make sure you guys stay within your effort level, knowing you have to run hard 10 miles off of the bike. The next slide is going to show that elevation chart. There's going to be one aid station at mile 15. You're going to have base hydro, which is an electrolyte drink, as well as water at mile 15. Let's try and what are we doing about trash on the bike? Are we carrying all of our trash with us here, Elizabeth, or are we going to be able to drop it at that aid station?
You can drop wrappers at that aid station, and you can exchange a water bottle at that aid station, but any other time, just stick it in your pocket, stick it in if you have a bento box or something like that, just, stick a wrapper under your shorts, whatever you have to do. Let's not leave foil all over town.
And let's be nice to the volunteers out there, guys. They're doing a lot for us. I believe it's a Boy Scout troop or a Cub Scout troop is out there giving out the water bottles. So if they're not quick on the uptake to give you a water bottle, let's not rip their head off. Right. Let's be nice to them and slow down a little bit. If you have to stop to get a water bottle, you have to stop to get a water bottle. But these kids are out there giving us their time. So be appreciative of that and tell them thank you when you roll through. And
specifically, there is a question on how do you exchange a water bottle? How does that work?
Well, if they're holding the water bottle out, you can grab the water bottle from them carefully, as long as you're slow enough. And it's it's uphill. So you shouldn't be going too fast as you're going up to that aid station. So it's not like you're going to be ripping through it at 35 miles an hour. So your speed should be regulated. So it should be easy enough to just grab a water bottle out of their hands. But if you miss it and you need that hydration, stop at the aid station. As long as no one's right behind you, you don't slam on the brakes and they run back right into your rear end. You look behind you, make sure no one's there. You can pull over and grab a water bottle on your own. So there's a few different ways to do it. However, you're safest. If you're not comfortable grabbing a water bottle from someone's hand, pull over, stop, and grab it for yourself.
The volunteers will be instructed to hold the water bottle from the bottom. So they're not holding where your mouth is going to go, to hold the water bottle from the bottom. And then you, as you bike by, you can take your hand and grab it from the middle. And again, monitor your speed. These are Boy Scouts out there. They're not wearing steel armor. So be gentle.
Right. So we're going to stay right at all times. You only move left to pass another athlete, and you look over your right-hand shoulder, make sure you're past athlete, and it's safe to go back into that right-hand side of the road. You come into transition, there's going to be a dismount line. It's the same line that was the mountain line. So you're going to get off your bike before that dismount line. You cannot ride your bike all the way to your rack. That's what they do in Malibu. We're not Malibu. We're Santa Barbara. You get off before the dismount line, slow down to that stop line. Don't just slam on your brakes and then go butt over tea kettle. You're right. So we join ease to the dismount line, get your leg over, and then run back to your rack, get on that running gear and go out and let it rip on the run. Any questions on that slide there, Meg?
We do have some, I see that you're going to go over parts of the course, but just wanted to get your opinion. Thank you, Jim Crane, for chiming in. Do you typically put chamois cream on after the swim before you jump on the bike?
You know what? The chamois cream lobby is all behind the chamois cream. I don't wear chamois cream. You don't need it. It causes saddle sores. No chamois cream. No, I'm not saying that. Yeah, you put it on before you go swim. It'll stay on if you're a chamois cream addict, but you don't need it. You don't need it.
Keep in mind also the act of putting chamois cream in your shorts is that something that you want 2,000 people to watch you doing?
Depends on who you are.
There's no public nudity. Keep covered up.
Really, in Santa Barbara, no public nudity? Come on.
I'll answer it that way. Just
keep it real, Santa Barbara.
Be very aware that there are 2,000 people with iPhone cameras.
If you're addicted to the chamois cream, put it on before you put on your wetsuit. You'll be fine. All right, this this bike course, you have 1,923 feet of elevation gain. As you can see, there's 3 climbs interspersed throughout. They start at mile 3, mile 12, and mile 25. And notice the descents on those, guys. You get up some pretty good speed on those descents. When you're coming out of that second climb, you make a sharp right-hand turn to come back to town. That's where you have to be very cognizant of your speed. We don't want you wiping out and taking skin off that whole right-hand side of your body. So make sure you're aware there's going to be volunteers. There's going to be signs saying slow down. Adhere to those signs because you're going to come down ripping down that turn. Make this tight right-hand turn. So take it slow and then get back up to speed quickly when that road flattens out. Same thing with mile 31. You're coming to that left-hand turn. And we have to just be very cognizant of your bike handling and take it slow, make the turn, then get it up to speed, get on those pedals as you come out of that turn. Just make sure you pay attention to all those course warnings. I put the elevation map right here. So, if you have any questions on that or you want to take a screenshot, it's right here. Otherwise, we're going to put this presentation on YouTube so you guys can refer back to this if you were curious on that elevation map and where those climbs start.
So Jim, back to the last slide, a couple questions about the traffic laws. So athletes do need to make sure that they are complying with traffic laws, and then otherwise there will be volunteers and CHP out on the bike course, but can you clarify if there is someone who's there, can they be waved through the stop sign at the intersection on the bike?
Yes, the volunteers and CHP, there are 13 intersections specifically that whether it's CHP or Santa Barbara Police or, depending on where we are, whether we're in Santa Barbara, Montecito or Carpinteria, there are 13 intersections out there that are monitored by the police and multiple volunteers. So you will be waved through. For example, coming out of Jameson, making the left on Eucalyptus, which turns into San Ysidro, and then you're going to make that sharp right. So there are going to be volunteers and police that are going to be monitoring traffic, stopping traffic, and waving you through. One area where you may get stopped by a volunteer is when you are making the left-hand turn into Gubernador Canyon. When you make that left-hand turn, you are going to be crossing not only vehicular traffic, but you are going to be crossing bike traffic from the athletes who are returning. Please listen to the volunteers. The athletes returning will probably be given the right of way. The athletes making the left may be told to stop. I know that you're all excited to be out there racing again, but if a volunteer tells you to stop, it's because they don't want you to get cleaned out by an incoming cyclist. So be very mindful of that left-hand turn into Gubernador Canyon. Be prepared to stop or they'll wave you through, but just keep an eye out for the police and the volunteers out there.
Thank you. This may be a question for Bruce or Elizabeth. Is this the same bike course as it was in 2019?
Yes, this is the same bike course that it has been. Gosh, I don't even know how far this bike course goes back. Is Bruce on the line?
Yeah, I'm here, Elizabeth.
Yeah, Bruce.
Hey.
How you doing? How far back does this bike course go?
Oh man, I'm the old guy here, and it goes way back. So yeah, I can definitely tell you it's been around a while.
All right.
So same course as the last few times, guaranteed.
Yeah. So if you've been with us recently, it's the same course. And I have heard reports from members of the Santa Barbara Tri Club who've been out there riding the course. Our transition director, Greg Martin, drove the course last weekend. There are sections of the course that are beautifully paved. So when you make the left and you're coming down Ortega on that screaming downhill, that road has been paved. So for those of us who have done the race in the past and we've kind of been rocking and rolling down that hill and water bottles are flying off, it's smooth sailing. There are a couple of areas on the bike course. I think it's around Toro Canyon, where Toro Canyon meets East Valley. I think those sections may still be a little bit rough. There's been a paving project going on in town late spring into the summer. So not 100% sure. if all of it will be smoothly paved, but the course is in really great shape.
Great.
Excellent,
Beautiful.
thanks. Yep, and Jim, would you ride a road bike or a tri bike on this course?
Tri bike. I've ridden a road bike before. Tri bike's always faster. So anything else, Meg?
Hey, Jim, can I put in 2 cents just about the
I
course
love
a
it.
second?
Yes.
Thanks. Just to reiterate, sorry, on that Greenwell descent, wide open road, very tight 90-degree corner at the bottom. We've seen a lot of athletes take that corner, come in hot, take it really wide, like into the other lane. So just have everyone be aware that's a very tight right-hand corner on Greenwell coming down after you go up Ortega Ridge.
It's around mile 18, right?
No, it's like mile 6, the first.
Oh, the first one.
It's
First one, okay.
climb. Yeah,
Going out.
Sent off
Gotcha.
the first climb, yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
And then Goob after the water bottle exchange, that's once again, it's wide open but there's a lot of shadows from the oak trees that overhang. So, just kind of be aware that it's smooth, but you can't really see everything in front of you. So it's just another heads up part of the course.
And
Right.
that is an area, Bruce, I spoke with Jay Ritterbeck this morning. Jay has helped us out with the bike course for, I don't even know how many years as well, but Jay will be out there on Thursday. And so that intersection where Gubernador, where you come down and make the ride on the 150, he will be blowing the debris out to make that a smoother turn. It's at the bottom of the hill, so it's only natural that you're going to get some runoff off the hill. But he'll be out there with brooms and a leaf blower to clean that section out. But to Bruce's point, these are sharp turns coming off pretty nice descents. So be very aware that if you try and take a turn too sharp at too high a speed, it may not end well.
Absolutely. I just wanted to just kind of reiterate that part that you've already talked about. So thank you.
Yeah. Thanks a lot,
Great.
Bruce. You guys knows the course like the back of his hand. So, all right. So remember, before the dismount line, you're getting off that bike before the dismount line. So ease in the transition, get off the bike, jog or walk that bike to your rack. Be mindful of all the athletes coming out, all the athletes coming in from the swim. Sit down, put your shoes on, put your socks on. Run out of transition. You can put on your race belt, your hat, your sunglasses as you're running out of transition. Like I said earlier about T1, make it snappy, but don't be hasty. Don't get all kerfuffled and forget things and drop your gels and have to run back in the transition to grab your sunglasses because you're too hasty. So quick, but not hasty. All right, run course.
Hold
10
on,
miles.
I'm going to give you a pause right there for our aqua bikers. Can we go through how they will finish?
Yes, it's a great question. So the aqua bike, once you come back in and you put your bike on the rack, you are finished. So you will run toward the ocean to get out of the bike racks. And instead of making a right to head out on the run course, you will make a left and you will run through the finish line.
There you go. Anything else, Mike?
Great, that's it. Thank you.
All right, run course, 10 miles for the long course, 2 miles for the sprint. Remember the bib colors that Elizabeth was speaking about earlier. Long course, do not turn around the sprint. Otherwise you're gonna come to my house, do dishes, my laundry for the next 2 months. Don't turn around the sprint. Long course, go out to mile 5, turn around, come back. One loop, you go out to the turnaround of mile 5, come back, or you go out to the turnaround mile 1, come back. You have an aid station every mile with water, base hydro at those aid stations. So there's little shade on this run. It might be hot. Make sure you're prepared with this hat or a visor, some sunglasses. Just be ready. It gets humid. It gets sunny out there. So just remember to protect yourself from that sun, and that'll help you have your best performance. Once you get off of the beach path, you go up the hill into the neighborhood. This is where we want to really be cognizant of our neighbors. They let us come here race, and they are very welcoming to us, and we want to stay that way. So let's make sure we're not littering, make sure we're kind, we're being appreciative of all of them out there cheering for us. It's a great spectator-friendly race, of course. We want to keep coming back, so just be mindful of the neighborhood that you are running through. Anything on the run course there, Meg?
Yes, sir. Number one, does the race bib need to be worn in the front or in the back?
It has to be worn in the front because we want to be able to take photos of you and then post those photos on the race website. And then you go buy those photos with the beautiful ocean in the background. So wear it in the front.
Excellent. Thank you. And then are hydration vests allowed on the run?
Yeah, I don't see why not. If you want to wear that, wear it.
Okay, great. And then,
This
But there is water every mile. So, you know.
And this is a USAT sanctioned race. So shirts must be worn. Men, no bare chest. Shirts must be worn, and headphones are not allowed to be worn. If the ref sees you with your little white buds in your ears, you will be disqualified. So be mindful of that as well. And these are the questions that if you come to the course talk on Friday, you can ask the refs about.
So if you look at the course elevation of the run, it looks like it's a massive gain of elevation. It's only 390 feet over the entire course, but we start at an extremely flat 2 miles to start. So any elevation gain in this elevation map looks like it's a huge gain. It's just you jump up the slight hill, up into the neighborhood, you run through the neighborhood, then you drop down the hill back to the beach path to finish it off the last 2 miles. So that's kind of the elevation there. And it's not a massive elevation gain. 390 feet over 10 miles is not that much. Obey, like we said earlier on the bike, obey traffic laws. If a police officer or volunteer tells you to stop and look out for traffic, stop and look out for traffic. Don't just hurdle a Subaru. Finish line. Finish line is no longer in the sand.
Hey,
Elizabeth, you want to go over this?
Yeah, so the finish line is one of those areas that's going to look a little different. This was completely out of our control. Once they redid the bathhouse and they took the scaffolding down, they've made some changes. And I got to be honest, I was down there walking around transition in the finish line 3 times before I noticed. Typically, as you come back on the run, you're coming back through the parking lot where transition is, and you are heading toward the bathhouse. When you hit what I call the promenade, which is the big sidewalk in front of the bathhouse, you used to make a right-hand turn and go, there was a space between the wall, and you would run right out onto the beach, and the scaffolding was set up in the sand. There's no opening. They've closed that off with a 3-foot-high wall. So there's no right-hand turn to make. And we really don't want anyone hurdling the wall after a 10-mile run. So the finish line will now be where the parking lot meets the promenade. So it will be on the very east side of that parking lot, not to be too confusing, but again, we're in the west parking lot. So as you run through that parking lot and you hit that sidewalk in front of the pavilion, the bathhouse, that's where the scaffolding will be set up. The chute, the finish chute, will be the sidewalk that will go about halfway down the bathhouse. And when you make a right-hand turn, that's where the opening is. There's a couple steps that go down to the beach. So that whole area will be fenced off. So it will just be the finisher chute. And being mindful of COVID protocols, there will be tables along that finisher chute, and everything will be self-serve. There will be water, there will be packaged snacks, there'll be bananas, and the finishers medals. They will be on the tables as well. Just pick one up. You're going to have to hang it on yourself. Sorry about that this year. And as you come to the end of the chute, there will be buckets. Please take your timing chip off. Jim Wright, I'm going to get to you in just a second. Please take your timing chip off and put it in the bucket. If we don't get your timing chip back, you might find a charge on your credit card the week after the race. Once you exit the finish chute, the expo is back on the beach. Jim Wright, who just wrote in a question, there won't be pizza, but there will be food trucks on the east side of the pavilion. There'll be a grilled cheese truck and there'll be taco trucks. We will have food coupons for the athletes and the volunteers at the same location where those registration tables were. So once you're done with your race, go on up, get a food ticket, we'll slash your number, go on over to the food trucks, help yourself. You'll be entitled to a meal and a drink. There'll be tables on the beach. So just hang out, enjoy the environment, and wait for the award ceremony.
Wait, I'm going to decide if it depends on how they perform. If they perform well, they get a food ticket. If they don't perform well, they're out.
Excellent. And we can't do this without sponsors as well. Montecito Bank and Trust has come back as our presenting sponsor. They have been a part of this race for probably close to 10 years now. They are just a staple in the community, and we are happy to have them back. We are very happy to have Hoka joining us this year. It was just a natural fit for Hoka to be sponsoring this event right in their backyard. We couldn't be happier. Thanks to Terra 26 and Base Performance. Base is our nutrition sponsor. Their product will be out on the bike and run course. The Santa Barbara Tri Club, gosh, I mean, there's a group of people who, again, we can't do this without. We get support from them all year long on athletes and volunteers who participate. And of course, Hazards. Hazards, Bruce, you've already heard from Bruce, but Hazards keeps all our bikes going. So thank you to all of those organizations who show up year over year. If there are any more closing questions, we're happy to entertain them. Thank you all for being on this call and just, you know, getting the new information so that your race weekend, your event weekend is smooth and controlled, and you guys will have a great time out there.
All right, Meg, we anything else on anybody's mind that they want to go over?
Yeah, we do. We have about 5 or 6 more questions left. So some clarification on the aquabike finish. Would you mind going over that once more? And then also a couple of questions. When does the actual time end for the aquabike? Is it when they enter transition or when they run to the finish line?
Run to the finish line. The race is not over till you cross the finish line. So when you return from the bike, you're going to enter transition the same way that the three sport athletes are. So you'll enter transition in the area closest to Cabrillo, and you will jog your bike back to the rack. You'll put your bike on the rack, take your helmet off, take your bike shoes off so you don't slip if they're not still on your cleats. Don't worry about putting your run shoes on, just run to the finish in your socks. So you'll put your bike on the rack and you will run toward the ocean. Now, the people who are heading out on the run are going to make a right-hand turn and they're going to run toward the pier. You're done. You're going to make a left-hand turn and you are going to head toward the finish line. Now, when you're there on Saturday morning, when you're there on Friday to pick up your packet, when you're there on Saturday morning, you're going to see where the finish line is. So rack your bike, run toward the ocean, make a left and cross the finish line. That is when your event ends.
Beautiful. What else we got, Meg?
Great. Yes. Let's talk about relays. How will the relay exchanges work?
The relay exchanges, there will be a separate bike rack for the relay teams, and the relay exchange will just be the exchange of the timing chip. So when the swimmer comes out of the water, they will run to the bike rack where their cyclist will be waiting. Any combination of get the timing chip off the swimmer and put it on the cyclist, and then the cyclist will follow the same rules as the individual athletes. When the cyclist comes back, the cyclist will put their bike on the rack, same thing. However, whatever combination of getting the chip off the cyclist and onto the runner, and then the runner will leave transition the same way that the individual athletes will, and return to the finish the same way.
Thank you. And what exactly is a timing chip, Elizabeth, and how is that attached to the athlete?
It's a great question. And like we said earlier, there's nothing that's, the only stupid question that there is the question you didn't ask. So a timing chip it's about this big, and it's sort of a plasticky rubberized device that you're going to wear. And it sends a sensor to a timing mat when you cross over that says you're on the course. That you're in the swim, that you are back from the swim. There'll be a timing mat in transition, that you've left for the bike course, that you're back. You've left for the run, and then you're back at the finish line. Those timing chips are attached to your ankle, preferably your left ankle, and I just learned why.
No. This is a trivia question. If you know the reason, put it in the chat right now, and then I'll give you a socially distanced slap on the back when I see you at the expo. So why do you put the timing chip on your left ankle? That's the question. First person to answer gets a pat on the back by the one and only. But yeah, so it's a Velcro strap.
I saw Rosie. Was she the first one in?
Oh, Rosie, come on, of course, Rosie. Teacher's pet.
The timing chip is attached to your ankle by a neoprene strap. So it's nice and soft. It won't cut your ankle. Neoprene strap with Velcro around it.
On that left ankle. Beautiful.
All right,
right.
is there a downloadable race course map for your GPS device for the bike and the run? Actually, for the swim too.
Jim, can you get stuff like that off Strava?
Yeah, you can go to oh god, map my ride. You could do it. You can type in Santa Barbara Triathlon, and then it's just someone put in the chat what the name of the course map software is. I forget what the website, because I slips my mind right now. But yeah, you can get it. We don't have it on our website, but there's plenty of places that you can get it. I think Strava might be able to have a downloadable version, but honestly, the course is going to be marked. You don't need to go off of your GPS. We're going to have plenty of marking out there for you to follow.
And if you'd like to, though, it looks like some participants are putting some responses in the chat box.
Ridewithgps.com. Thank you. Just double check that it matches with the course map that is on the website. So you don't want to download like years and years and years ago. So
yeah, you want to be aware out there. I don't want you buried your head in your computer and just following what your computer is saying. It's like the guy who follows Waze and then ends up in the bottom of a lake because it told me to go that way. No, follow the on-course directions. You'll be fine.
Sounds good. Thanks. Now let's talk about parking. So if you're going to get there, hopefully very, very early so that you can make sure that you're all set Saturday morning. Where's a good place to park?
Yeah, so parking's tricky. I'm not going to lie. It is street parking. So do get there early. If you're a local, if you live nearby, if you're staying in a nearby hotel, I encourage you to ride your bikes to transition. Put your backpack on, put your helmet on, ride your bikes down to transition. There is street parking around the area. Early bird gets the worm. The first person, the closest car to the venue, the transition site, I guarantee is going to be Bruce Davis. Bruce shows up at the event at about 3:30 in the morning. So anyone who gets there before Bruce gets an extra goat cheese sandwich. So be mindful, be aware, plan ahead, get there early. Do not leave your house out at Hope Ranch at 6:30. You will not make it. You will not find parking and be able to walk in. So plan ahead. It can be tricky. It's doable because there is parking that early in the morning. You don't have the beachgoers yet, but we are taking up both parking lots at East Beach. So, for the event and the venue. So don't plan on parking in either of those places. Plan ahead.
Excellent. Thank you. And this is from Emil a little while back. Early on, you mentioned that the athletes will receive an email from USAT. When should they expect that?
No, that I probably went over that part too quickly. So during the registration process, you signed your waivers and there was a USA Triathlon license check. So it checked to make sure that you have a current license. And if not, you had to buy what's called a one-day license, which I think is about $15. That was that extra charge in registration. And basically what that does is that attaches the athletes to my insurance policy. USA Triathlon is sanctioning the event. They are insuring the event. So everyone has to have some form of a USA Triathlon license. There were a few athletes that went through the registration process that did not get their licenses checked. There was a glitch in the registration software. So in the coming week, you will be receiving an email from the registration software with a link to go back in and purchase a one-day. We are able to verify if you are a current license holder. We can do it ourselves. We are verifying those people. But if you're in the position where you're not a USA Triathlon member and you need to purchase a one-day, you will be receiving an email from the N-Motive registration system.
Okey-dokey. Thank you. And then body marking placement. If you are going to self body mark, can you clarify what calf, what arm, and are we doing hands?
I don't think hands are necessary, but we want to be on the arms, both arms and both thighs. If you are wearing shorts that come down to your knees, then please put the numbers on your shins. Right or left calf, I don't think it really matters. That's your age. Some people don't want to put their age, but that's where your age goes. Doesn't matter right or left.
Okay, and then one more for Bruce. Bruce, would you mind just chatting a little bit? We've had a couple questions here about the long course. Approximately how long are the uphills for each of the 3 longer climbs?
Oh man, now we're getting technical.
Not to put you on the spot.
It's triathletes, Bruce. That's what they do.
Yeah,
Right?
I know. I should
Yeah,
have this
yeah.
memorized too. See, so the first one up Ortega Ridge is, oh man, I don't even think about that. I just know that my heart rate goes up and then it goes down as I start going downhill again. I don't know. I would say a quarter mile. No. It's more like a half mile to the top, and then you come down as it climbs up. It's not terrible. It starts out steep, then you drop down Greenwell. When you head up Goob, the next big one, and I'm sorry, there's the climb up Sheffield to get to that, but that's not. It's just a kind of a false flat. It's a little bit of uphill. When you go up Goob, it starts out as a short steep. I mean, you come around this corner and all of a sudden the road goes straight up and you get a little nervous. That ends rather quickly. It's maybe, literally a quarter mile to the top. It flattens out, goes to a false flat. Then you have a slight climb, and that's where the water bottle exchange will be. When we come back on Toro going up, it's almost a mile to the top, because it climbs up, does a couple switchbacks, comes to the top, false flats, you have a couple rollers, then you start back down 192, and then it's downhill, most of the way back until you get back to the Biltmore, and you have a little bump after the Biltmore on Channel Drive, but before you get to the cemetery, which is, it's a little disconcerting, especially at the end of 34 miles. But it's not bad. And then once you get over that, then it's flat all the way back to transition. So hopefully that helps, but don't quote me on those distances exactly.
That was a great summary.
Yeah, I'll ramble on. Sorry, you know me, I'll talk.
Great summary, great memory for sure. And also water bottle exchange. So we just want to clarify that when you get a water bottle at that turnaround on the bike, it is a brand new water bottle.
Yeah.
If you really do want to stop and use your own water bottle, you'll have to stop, get the new water bottle and put it in your bottle, and then dispose of the disposable bottle.
Yes. These are brand new water bottles. They are being shipped to Hazards as we speak. So they will be right out of the box.
All right, and I believe this is the last question that we have for the evening, unless something else comes in, and we're going to throw this one over to Chris O'Driscoll because of his wonderful accent. We just want to hear you talk, Chris. But would you talk about the bridge that's over Mesa Lane? Can you tell us a little bit about that part of the running course?
So I think it comes in right around mile 3, Jem, right? On the run, when you get to the top of the hill, you make a left turn and then you run over this little wooden bridge. And it's kind of enjoyable. It's something to look forward to. I think I always look forward to it on the run.
So
go down into the neighborhood.
Yeah. So Chris,
Yes.
I think what the question was getting at is there have been some signs posted that they're going to do construction on that bridge. They've been telling us for years that they're going to do construction on that bridge. I will drive over there this weekend and see what's going on and walk the bridge and see what kind of conditions it's in and make sure it's there and they haven't taken the bridge offline. If they take the bridge offline, we're going to have to do a quick reroute to get over to the other side of that neighborhood, and we will post any course change and we'll let you know at registration what happened. But I'm pretty sure, given a couple emails I've received, that was the crux of the question.
Gotcha. But the bridge is fine. There was never a problem with the bridge.
Yeah.
I always kind of look forward to it.
Nothing to overthink.
No.
All right, Meg, what else we have?
Yeah, really and truly, the last one. Where did you get those elevation maps, Jim? And
Super secret area.
So you
No,
just
it's
have
No, I have it's all my athletes who've done the race in the past. So I'm going to try and get those over to Elizabeth to post on the site, and maybe we can get those
Yeah,
elevation maps a little more in front of your athletes before you race.
Yeah, they should be up by now. I asked John Martin, those of you in the Santa Barbara area, you may know John. He's part of the Santa Barbara Tri Club. He is our webmaster, and I have asked him to post those. So hopefully they'll be up at some point tonight. So you'll have reference. So again, I want to thank you all for joining us. I'm so excited that we are going to be back racing, participating, and we're going to be live. We're going to be around each other again. It's going to be a fabulous experience. We're so excited to see you all. And I'm so grateful for all of your support, for all of you who, you signed up and you're going to show up. And we can't wait to make this event happen. Email in if there are any further questions. Please encourage your friends to view this, the recorded version of this Zoom call, because there's a lot of great information that went out, a lot of great questions that got asked that triggered more information that we passed along to you. So thank you all. Have a wonderful night, and we'll see.
And Elizabeth, thank you for making all this happen. I know all the hard work you've been doing, and without you and all your commitment to making the Santa Barbara Triathlon happen this year, it'd be a tough task, and we know how hard you're working. So thank you for everything you're doing.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone. Good night.
Okay,
Have a great
thanks
night.
for joining. We'll see you next week. Exciting times.
Okay. Test. All right, very good.